Why don't we try and get started? In the spirit of time efficiency, I'm Perry Nisen. I'm now the chief executive of the Sanford-Burnham Institute, and I've been waiting for 20 years to tell you I have no conflicts of interest. So thank you for that. But in this session of comparative oncology and drug development, which is the final session of these 2 days, I'll offer you just a few moments of having spent 20 years, I think, hearing most, perhaps all, of the issues surrounding the use of companion animals, pets, in clinical development in oncology, having been the former head of oncology research and development at 2 big pharmaceutical companies and the chief medical officer at a pharmaceutical company. I've heard the issues and complaints of, oh my God, how can we do a study in dogs? What if there's an SAE? We have to report it to the FDA. They're going to go bonkers. They're going to put us on clinical hold. There's going to be a blind animal. They won't know if it's related to just this being an animal with cancer, and they're going to make us do ophthalmologic studies for 10 years in patients before we move forward. I've heard about the challenges of the costs of conducting clinical trials because of the costs of drug product. Why should we make this investment in the drug product to give to pet animals? We could start a clinical trials. We have timelines. We have deliverables. This is interfering. How much are we really going to learn? You know, we don't even want to study outbred rats because we don't know the normals in terms of toxicology. So I could describe for you the litany of reasons that teams and individuals have avoided exploring and conducting experiments in pet animals. And at the same time, having spent 20 years living with extraordinary failure, as we've heard. I hope in this session, and you'll hear from several very experienced individuals, going back to some of the comments Mike Casson said at the very beginning, that part of the objective of this meeting is to really explore and consider some of the gaps and opportunities to have an impact both for pets and people. So let me just introduce to you the 4 speakers who will spend a few moments just giving you a bit of an overview, and hopefully we could spend most of our time in discussion as a panel really very openly around this most important topic. I think there are 4 individuals who have really broad and extensive experience. Ann Keene, who's now Director of Regulatory Affairs at Academies, previously at Genentech Roche, who really introduced comparative oncology to drug development from the regulatory side. Wendy Levin, a physician, hematologist, oncologist, now at Fate Therapeutics, but has been at MEI Pharma, and before that at Pharma, again involved in these studies. Daniel Tumas, who's at Gilead, is somebody who actually brought forward a drug that has activity in pet dogs, but was terminated and not studied in humans, but has shown how to progress that in patients. And finally, John Layton, who is director of the Division of Hemontoxicology. He's a toxicologist and pharmacologist in the Office of Hematology Oncology Products at the FDA. So we could hear it from I was going to say horse's mouth, but we're not talking about horses. So let me first introduce Ann Keene to just give a few comments, just really a few moments from each of these speakers, and then really we'll spend the time in discussion with questions from yourselves and really take on some of the hard questions of what we can do.